So as Dee Dee said, I have several years of experience in the accounting trenches like most of you folks, as well as on the information technology side. So I really have an understanding of what kind of trials and tribulations that you guys face every day just trying to get information from your system and presented to the various recipients of that data, whether it be shareholders or whether it be government reporting entities or things like that. So I really love the BizNet or the BizInsight product. I am very passionate about it because I know the amount of time it would have saved me if I had had this product years ago when I was doing those types of things. So if I get excited about it, it's just because I know what kind of time savings that it can generate, and I've actually heard testimonies from some of our clients that have implemented how much time that it's actually saving them. So what really is BizInsight and how does it work? So BizInsight is an add-in to your Excel, and what it does is it goes, it's configured on the Sage server so that it will go into your Sage data, and it will pull the data directly from your Sage data for you and put it right into your Excel spreadsheet where you want it. So it's an Excel-based reporting unit for you. And because it's going out to your Sage data, it is a real-time integration solution. So it's not something where you have to wait till the end of the day for somebody to run some sort of program to update the data. As soon as someone posts entries into your Sage 100, then you have the ability to see that result in your spreadsheets when you are doing your reporting. So it is real-time. So how does it work? Again, it's an Excel add-in, and it's integrated into your Sage 100. So one of the things about that is because it is an Excel add-in, you can leverage your existing spreadsheets. You can actually create new ones, but if you have some that are previously existing, you can certainly utilize those as well. And with the BizInsight program, you can drag and drop the functions and retrieve the data that you want into your spreadsheet. And we'll show you that here in just a moment. So why should you choose it? There's a lot of reasons why, but you have the ability to create ad hoc reports on the fly. So if you've ever had to go to an IT person and say, hey, I need this report, and then wait for them to generate such a report and come back to you only to find out all the time was spent was not the report that you really asked for, that is with BizInsight and being in an Excel add-in, you have the ability to utilize the tool yourself and be able to create your own ad hoc reports. And because it's in Excel, and some of the statistics I read about the number of corporations in America that are driven by Excel spreadsheets, I can probably assume that most of you guys are pretty good at utilizing Excel on a pretty regular basis, so you can utilize your current knowledge and your skills in Excel. You can leverage your existing spreadsheets. So if you've got financial statements that you have where you've for years just printed out the standard Sage 100 canned reports, and then you've rekeyed data into some sort of format that you wanted to present to your shareholders, you can use those same spreadsheets, just adding the BizNet functions to them to automatically bring that data in for you so that you don't have to rekey. So by doing that, you can eliminate the rekeying. So how much time are you spending a week, a month, or a year even just rekeying data from your general ledger into reports for someone else? So with BizInsight, you can eliminate that rekeying time that you're used to spending. And again, because the data is real time, it's up to the minute. So you know that your data, when you refresh that, it is completely up to the minute. And because of the up to the minute and elimination of the rekeying, typically that's going to accelerate the delivery of your reports to your decision makers and to your reporting entities. So definitely a time saving. So let me switch my screen over and oops, go back. Make sure, okay. So now I'm going to switch over to Excel, and I'm going to show you how you can utilize BizInsight in terms of how easy is it to get started, and then how, some of the ways that you can use BizInsight in your organization. These are just examples, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. In as many different reports as you have in your directories, that's probably as many different ways as you can use BizInsight. So a lot of opportunity here. So when you, as the user, are using BizInsight, you're going to be in Excel, so you're used to seeing that. And you're still going to have all the same Excel type of features that you're used to. You're used to the sums and the, all the formatting and things like that. So you still have all of those capabilities that you have in Excel. Nothing changes that. The only thing that BizInsight does is that it adds that automation where it can go and get that Sage data for you so that you don't have to go and rekey. So from here, I'm going to, BizInsight's an add-in, and you do have to engage it, so I'm going to engage it. And when I do so, I get a pane over on the side that has the different functions. So under my Mass 90 GL, I have several functions here. So you can see balances on month-to-date, year-to-date, as well as budget-type transactions. So there are many different types of data that you can pull in. So if you keep your budget data in Sage 100, you're able to bring that in to your reports if you have budget reporting to do. So what I have here on the spreadsheet is actually just a plain Jane vanilla report. And so I just want to utilize this to show you how easy it can be to get started on your reporting if you've got a report that you already use, how you can make that work. So in here, I've got in my Sage data a company called ABC Company. Let me get my focus going on here. ABC. And so with BizInsight, you do have to tell it, obviously, if it's going to retrieve data from Sage, it needs to kind of have an idea which data you want for it to retrieve for you. So you do have to tell it your company code. You have to tell it your reporting year that you want. In my demo data, because I have a lot of activity, is in this 2010 database. So I'm going to utilize that, and it's going to be for the period 5, which corresponds to my month of May. So you do have to tell it company code, fiscal period, and fiscal year. And then the last piece of data that you have to tell it is going to be into your account number or some form of your account number. So if you've got multiple segments in your account number, like we have here, this particular account number has 3 segments. The first one is the 400, which represents your main account, and then you have the 2 other sub-segments with the 01 and the 00. You can do reporting off of any one of those segments individually or collectively or any combination. So I'll show you a little bit of that on one of our other spreadsheets, but I just wanted you to know, even though this particular example is going to be a very simple and straightforward example, you can utilize BizInsight to get as granular as you need with pulling in your data. So I've got my 4 components here. I've got company, year, period, and my account number. So the next thing I need to do is tell it what type of data I want it to bring over. So I'm just going to do, I've got a period to date column here. So I'm going to do balances month to date, and I'm going to select my net balance function. And when I click and drag, notice it will come across my sheet. And when I release, it prompts me for the information that I need to give to it. So I'm going to select my company code in cell A1, and because we're in Excel and because I'm going to show you how to copy them down, like any formula, if you are going to be copying, you might need to do some cell anchoring. So I'm going to do that with my F4 button. My next is my fiscal year, and again I will anchor that with F4, fiscal period, and I'll anchor that with F4. And then I have my account over here in column D9. And because I'm going to be doing some column copies, I am going to anchor the D column there. And so now it has pulled in my data for me. Notice that it pulled it in as a negative, and that's only because we're talking revenues here. Revenues have credit balances, so it does bring over, if it's a credit balance, it does bring it over as a negative, but I can change that quickly by adding a minus sign into my formula at the top in the formula box. And so now I've got the formula there. That was just one line, so I can then copy that down. And assuming that I've got my anchoring done correctly, I now have, you know, a portion of my sheet done. I can then do my sum to sum my totals. Now, that gets me part of my period to date. What about year to date? Well, I could do the same thing as what I just did by dragging and dropping the function and doing the column and so forth. There are some easier ways to do that as well by doing finding and replacing. So if I look here, the function name for this function is an MTD-net function, and I can copy that this over to the next column and change it to a YTD-net because of the year-to-date net function. The only difference between them is the name. So I can do that. I can also drag and drop. So I'll just do the quick one here. I'll copy this over, paste it. So right now it says the same because they're both month to date. So then I can do move that out of the way so I can see. I'm going to highlight this area here, do find and select, click replace, and anywhere it says MTD, I'm going to replace it with YTD. And so now I've got my period to date column as well as my year to date column. Now it's not really in a nice format, so then again I can just use my Excel features and do format cells and make it an accounting format. And so now my sheet, at least in that section, is complete. So you can see that there are some things that will take a little bit of time to set up initially, but it is easy if you are properly anchoring. That you can. There are some shortcuts to help you get your worksheets formatted for BizInsight pretty quickly if you've got existing worksheets that you want to transform into BizInsight worksheets. So just wanted to kind of give you an example of how easy it is to get started. And now I want to show you some of the options that you have, some ideas maybe to utilize BizInsight. So obviously, the first thing that most people utilize BizInsight for, the cornerstone, is going to be your financial statements, your income statement. So I've got an example here of an income statement, and it has just some basic formatting. And one of the things I told you earlier is that you have to give it the information that it needs to go out and pull the data. And so I do have that information on my spreadsheet, but I've had it hidden previously so that your recipients don't necessarily have to look at that data. I call it the necessary ugliness. So you do have to have that information there, but it can be obviously hidden and tucked away so that it doesn't become part of the presentation when you're presenting your statements. So on here I have a basic statement, and it's essentially where we started the creation of the one on the previous worksheet. It's now dressed up and doctored up, and now it has a new format, and this would be the one that I would present to my shareholders or my management team. So what happens after you create your worksheet? What do you do? Well, the next month, and I'm going to say, let's say we started in March. The next month you would open your worksheet, then you would change your period to the next period. It will go out and cache. I've already cached my data because I wanted to make sure everything was working properly. It will go out, it will pull the information, and it will immediately update the numbers. So you can see when I changed from period 3 to period 4, it did update my numbers. I'm getting ready to change from period 4 to period 5 so that you can see it again, so that you can know that it will go back and read that data for you. So I'm going to change it to period 5. So my numbers have been changed. So once you have your worksheet set up, it's very easy to go from month to month. Just reopen your worksheet and refresh your data, and it will automatically populate the new numbers for you. Now, the only caveat there is obviously if you've got new accounts that you've added to your chart of accounts, you will need to make adjustments to add them, or else you might be out of balance. But it's very easy to go in once you've got your worksheet formatted. I've also built in some logic into my spreadsheet that when I tell it which period it is, it will change the verbiage in the report header. So if I change this back to April, it tells me for the 4 periods ended 4/30/2010. And then again, if I change it to the next month, it changes the verbiage to the 5 periods ended. So there are some things that you can do within Excel to change to build in dynamics into your report headers and things like that. And again, this particular example was a simple example. We had a one account per each row of the income statement. But what happens if you have things other than that? So I've got an example here where I've called it my income statement condensed, and it's where instead of having distribution sales by the East Division and the West Division and so forth, and each one of these revenue categories based on East and West and having them all listed out individually, I've rolled them up. And so on this particular example, I've used the asterisk in my account number so that it will pull in both the East and the West Division. So anything that starts with, on the distribution sales line, line 16, anything that starts with a 400-01 would be included in this total. So you can use things like wildcards to kind of guide and group some of your numbers as well. So if you use multiple segments, definitely easy to group when it's the same main account or main account or sub account. You can group things utilizing the wildcard. Another way that some of our clients like to use BizNet is because they have multiple company codes in Sage. So we get the question all of the time, can I report on multiple company codes in Sage? So I've got an example here of a consolidated income statement. So I've got good old ABC Distribution and Services, but I've also got a company called XYZ Metal and Manufacturing. So on this particular statement, each one of them has their individual listings, but then I've got a column there for the consolidated information. So if I look at how I've set this up, notice in the necessary information that I have areas for both the ABC company, where I tell it which accounts to pull in for the ABC company, and then I have another section that tells it what information to pull in for my XYZ company. And so that's how that information is then driven. Again, I can change my month. If I change it to June, I know the XYZ company doesn't have any information, or actually ABC doesn't either. But I can, again, once I have my worksheet set up the next month, it would just be a matter of changing your period, and it would then refresh your data. And so also, one of the things that you can do is while you're looking, once you've refreshed your worksheet and you're looking at the data, if something doesn't look right, and you think, well, what was it last month? It's just a matter of you can quickly go to your parameter and change the month, and I can immediately see, oh, that's what it was last month. It was in ABC sales, it was 343,893, and then for the month of June, it was 710,956. So, I mean, very quickly while you're analyzing your statements, it's easy to flip back and forth so that you can quickly see maybe what it was the previous month. So consolidated statement is another option. Budgeting, some folks just do all their budgeting information in a spreadsheet anyway. So why not utilize BizInsight to help you pull that data so that you can populate your actual information. So on this particular example, and it's kind of a colorful example, and I'll show you why here in just a moment, but we do have, I'm going to minimize my BizInsight pane there. Once you engage BizInsight, if you are not in the act of designing, you can minimize it down so that it does not take up real estate space in your spreadsheet, not on your screen. So that's what I've done. I've minimized it down. But I see on here there are multiple lines here that are colored. And on this particular budget worksheet, notice that we have columns for actual data and then also the budget data for that particular month, and then of course the calculation of how much over or under or favorable, unfavorable, if you want to look at it that way. But the reason why some of the rows are colored is because there are obviously different ways that you can specify account information that you want. So on line 16 and 17, we have just single account references. We're doing everything with just one single account. On line 16, it's the account that starts with 400. And in this case, we're talking about just the main account. We're not talking about the full account number. On line 18, we have a range. So if you have a contiguous list of accounts and they go and create the range, you can specify a particular range. So in this case, it's accounts 400 to 425. We spoke earlier about using wildcard characters. So on line 21, we are picking up all accounts that start with a 4-5 for our purchases calculation. And again, on line 22, we have another example of a range. Now, one of the Excel features that you can do, and it's just basic Excel, is to use named ranges. And so with BizInsight, if you're used to using named ranges, you can also utilize a named range for your account listing. So if you have a particular account listing that you will need to use and the accounts are not contiguous, so you can't use a range, so you're looking for an easier way to maybe designate those accounts, you can create a named range. So on here we've got a named range called salary accounts, and if I go over to my data list, I can scroll down and my salary accounts are listed here. So I've got various accounts starting with 500 and ending with 710, but they're not contiguous, so I can't use a range, but they're just accounts here and there, and make out the list. So that's how you can utilize named ranges. Again, we've got more examples of ranges. And on line 45, there's actually an example of a list. It's a small list. So if you have a specific list of accounts, that can be done either by putting each account into a cell by itself, or you can create an expression for your list as well. So one of the things I don't show here is you can create expressions. So if you have very specific criteria, example, you have a range of accounts, but you need to exclude one account that's in that range, and then you need to add another account that is not within that range, you can create expressions to encompass what you need. So as granular as you need to get and as complicated as you need to get, and believe me, I have seen some that are pretty complicated, we can create an expression that would encompass what you need. So if you're thinking, well, this isn't going to fit our financial statements because our roll-ups are too complex, I beg to differ, and we can discuss how we can do it, but BizNet can get as granular as you need to. And another sample that I presented here is a departmental expense report. So you may have multiple departments, whether it's by location or geographic region or that sort of thing. You can create different reports. And again, some of the functionality I have here is just Excel functionality. It's not anything that BizNet has added to it. It's just Excel being used in your reports, and then BizNet BizInsight being used to pull the data from Sage 100. But that combination, you can create some very nifty spreadsheets. So in this particular one, I've actually created some drop-down lists. So on the departmental expenses, I've got an East division, which is shown here, but I've got a drop-down listed so that I can quickly switch it to the West division. I've even got my months set up here, so I could then show May, or if I wanted to go back to March, I could do that as well. So again, if you are reviewing financials and you need to do a quick comparison, what was it last month, you can definitely quickly scroll through by changing the parameters. So I don't have any data for June for this particular company. So again, just flipping through. I can even change my year if I needed to. So if I wanted to do 2009 versus 2010, I can do that. So you can go back, and as much data as you have in Sage is the data that BizInsight can pull from your Sage 100. One final example I wanted to show you is building a trend report and how easy that can be. So the example I usually give is that the boss comes and says, hey, I need to see a list of expenses for the month of May. And so you diligently go back to your desk and pull that information and quickly do so in your BizInsight, and you whip it out and you present it to the boss. And the boss says, oh, well, this is great, but what has it been for the last few months? I need a comparison. So you go back to your desk, and it's really easy once you've got your first column done to then create your trend report. So on here, if going backwards, if they want to see the trend starting with the current month and going backwards, I'll just make my column headers for the appropriate period here. And I could very well just drag it over. So I can go back all the way back to the beginning here. And then I can just copy. I've got a whole report here. Copy that and paste it. And so now, in a matter of seconds, it may have taken you 3 or 4 minutes to generate that first column there, but now in a matter of seconds, I now have a trend report going back 5 whole months, so that the boss can then look at it and decide if there are things that are requiring action. So very easy to take something that is already existing and then make it into a trend or build and expand upon what you already have. So some different examples there of how you can utilize BizInsight in your daily reporting or daily type of things in your environment that you might need. So we've got the trend report. We looked at the department report, the budget report, a consolidated income statement. We also looked at the condensed income statement, and then just the run-of-the-mill where every every account is listed individually on the income statement. So very easy to use. I've actually seen some of our users are actually using it to do dashboarding every day. So some users are very dependent on daily information from Sage 100 when they try to report and communicate within their organization. So that really is how to use the BizInsight product. But then we need to talk about how you can send that information out and how you can communicate it to others. And there is a sister product called BizBroadcast that will help allow you to distribute those reports in the manner that you need to the recipients that you need to send them to. And with BizInsight, or excuse me, BizBroadcast, BizBroadcast is an add-on to Excel, and with BizBroadcast, you are able to add a distribution template. And so I've got a sample distribution template here. And on your distribution template, if you want to send out a whole workbook, or you may have particular worksheets that need to be distributed, or you may have 5 different people and they may get 5 different combinations of worksheets from this same workbook, how can you effectively and quickly do that? Because probably right now you're doing 5 different either copy and paste and save as or things like that. But with BizBroadcast, it can really streamline and create efficiency in distributing your reports. So on this particular template here, the first thing that you have to decide is what type of format your recipient needs to receive it in. And so you can see here there are, I believe it's 11 now, options from PDF to various versions of Excel, whether it's Excel values or if it's the full Excel sheet. So there's the difference between some of these has to do with the version of Excel you're sending it out of. There's also options like HTML and CSV as well. So between PDF and the various versions of Excel that you might need to, HTML and CSV, it's a pretty wide range of formats that you can send. So you would have to figure out what format you want. When you send or when you distribute your information, you can send it to an email recipient, or you can send it directly to a file location. So if you have reports that you just need to put out in a directory on your server for different people to access as needed, you can send it directly to your server path, as long as you have access to that path. On the email lines, if you are emailing, there is a column there to specify the subject for your email. And on mine, I've got it set up to pull particular worksheets here, and I'll show you in just a moment. And based on which month it is, it changes the value of the email subject. So I've got a little bit of Excel logic built in so that if I'm sending out income statements for the month of April, my email subject is going to be income statement 4/2010. So you can build in some logic there so that you don't have to change the email subject every month to say, you know, income statement and then the month. You can build that in logically. On the selection column, if you leave it blank, it will send the whole workbook. But in this case, these particular examples, I'm selecting specific worksheets. You can select any number of worksheets. So if I double-clicked there, I have the list of all the worksheets in the workbook, and I can then select the ones that I want to add to that distribution line. So if I wanted the income statement and then I wanted the department, I could then have those two things. So they don't, you don't necessarily have to have all of them, and it can be more than one. So you can have any various combinations of worksheets in your distribution. because I'm sending in my email a file, a PDF file, I do have to name that file. So when it attaches the file to the email, the file has a name. So I've created the file name to be equal to the email subject that I have here. And then there are various parameters that you can, they're optional, that you can add. So on here, on my top line, I've got, I have added a field for the email body. So I'm sending the spreadsheet attached to an email or as a PDF document, but I want to tell the recipient something additional in the email. So I have the ability to put in the actual email message that I want to send. So on here I've got the verbiage, here are the latest statements, call me with any questions. So various parameters that you can set up here. So that was the first distribution that will happen when we send it out. The next two have to do with the departmental reports. So in the case where you have different departmental managers that are receiving different information, I'm going to be sending out information from the department spreadsheet, or the tab department, and I've got one that is going as a PDF to email, and that's going to have the information for the East location, and then I've got it set up here so that it's going to go to the C directory with the information for the West location. So again, you have some leeway. You can get as granular as you need. You can have as many different recipients and different combinations as you need here, but I just wanted to show 3 quick items here. So once you set up your template and you have your worksheet up to date and you're ready to generate them out and send them out, it's very quick. I have a Run Now button here. And so it's going to take a few seconds to go through, and it tells me that it processed all 3 items in about 4 seconds. And so now I'm going to switch over to my email. And so now I have, as of 11:39, and that was just a moment ago, I have the first report here is the department report. So if I look at that one, I believe this one was going to be the East Department. So let's open that up. And we see that, yes, in fact, it is a PDF with the East Department. And then, of course, the first one was the income statement for the month of May. Here are the latest statements. Call me with any questions. Again, the information I put in that email body parameter. And there's my PDF from the ABC company. And the final thing that we sent was in the C directory. And there's my Department West. And there it is. And again, that was sent at 11:39 as well. So very quickly, all 3 of those things were sent in about 4 seconds, and very different combinations or very different data. So with BizBroadcast, you have the ability, if you spend a lot of time doing report generation and report sending, BizBroadcast can be your friend and can help you definitely streamline your process there. So that is that concludes the demo piece of it. So let me come back over here and just give you a recap here. What can you use BizInsight for? Ad hoc reporting, so on the fly, like the trend report that we did. For financial reports, of course, that's generally the cornerstone. You can do consolidated reports, budgeting reports, trend reports, and also executive dashboarding. And here is my email address. If you have questions on, can BizInsight do this, or BizBroadcast, can it do this? That is my email address if you have those types of questions. But if you actually want more information on the product and the pricing, Jody Patterson is in our sales, and she would have more details about that for you. And I think at this point, Dee Dee, let's open it up and see if we have any questions.
Okay. Yes, actually we do. There's a question, does a BizNet user have to have a license and a login to Sage 100?
Oh, that's a good question, and I'm sorry I didn't say that during the presentation, but with BizInsight, the user licenses for BizInsight do not have to have a Sage 100 login. So if you, in the accounting trenches, are doing the report generation, probably you have access to Sage 100, but you may be sending reports to users who don't log into Sage 100, and that's fine. When you're generating your reports and sending it by BizBroadcast, obviously those reports are converted into a format that they can read them. You may also, there are a couple of different types of licenses with BizInsight. There's the designer where you're creating the views, and there's also a viewer license. So if you've created the report and you just need to have somebody that, or if you have someone in management maybe that just needs to know the latest numbers and wants the ability to go in and look at that information themselves, you can have a viewer license for those folks. And as long as they are within your network, and as long as within your network they have the ability to, in the security to access that server, then they should be okay and be able to retrieve the data. Good question. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. If you think of anything after the fact, feel free again to utilize my email address. And I do certainly appreciate you guys sitting in on the presentation. And
Christy,
if you have any questions, yes, ma'am?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but actually I do have a question now.
Okay.
It says, what if a person you want to send your report to doesn't have a BizNet license? Would you need to copy the values?
Okay. If the person you are sending the report to does not have a BizNet license, you will need to save it as an Excel values or a PDF type format to send to them. The reason for that is because with BizInsight it creates those functions like the month-to-date net function that we saw earlier. And if you were to send your straight BizInsight worksheet to them directly, because they don't have a license, when they open up that worksheet in their Excel won't know what to do with that MTD net function, and it will return an error. Typically it's a hashtag value error. So the reason, if you have recipients that don't have licenses for BizInsight, you would just save your worksheet as an Excel values or a PDF, and then you can send it that way. The values transfers any of those function names and just puts the direct dollar value there versus the formula, and that allows them then to read it.
Okay, great. Now it doesn't look like there's any other questions.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys joining in, and again, I'm very passionate about this product, and I think it saves so many people so much time, and I wish I'd had it back in the day. But definitely, if you do a lot of data massaging, putting into Excel, and then saving and resaving in different formats, BizInsight and BizBroadcast are definitely worth considering over the course of time.
Okay, great. And I want everyone to know that we are recording this So if you're interested, we can send you. My email is deedee@oasisky.com. I'd be happy to send you the recording. We will be uploading it to our website. It should be on the website as of next week. So thank you all so much for attending. We appreciate your time and attention to the detail today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.